Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Sean, and we got Harrison, fresh off a week off of pulling his cat out of a wall. How are we doing, Harrison and Sean?
Better this week than last.
Yeah, how's that drywall doing?
Fantastic. I get to redo my master closet, and I'm really excited about it. So,
well,
can't beat it.
Silver lining, I guess.
Yeah. After I just redid it 2 months ago.
Oh, not so much fun.
I don't want to talk about it. The cat's lucky he's still alive.
Fair enough. All right. We have a lot of stuff to cover tonight, but before we get going, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can follow on Instagram. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. So when Shohei Ohtani joined the 40-40 club, he did it in grand fashion. Walk-off home run to join the 40-40 club. He only has the best game that any person has ever had in the history of baseball to reach 50-50. This is insane. I'll read this. Since the RBI became an official stat in 1920, only one Major League Baseball player has had, over the course of their career, a game with 10 plus RBIs, a game with 6 plus hits, a game with 5 plus extra base hits, a game with 3 plus home runs, and a game with 2 plus stolen bases. Shohei Ohtani did it in that one game to join the 50-50 club. Absolutely insane. I've
that guy's an alien.
Yeah. It's as amazing and unprecedented as this 50-50 club is he having the best season across the league? Like, we have Aaron Judge, we have Bobby Witt. Is he having the best season out of everybody?
Yeah.
Well, that's a loaded question because it depends on who you ask. Depends on the answer you get.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude, 50-50.
Yeah. So, I mean, I also saw that he obviously is seeing a lot more pitches and has more at bats than Aaron Judge because he has so much protection around him. Like, I'm not trying to take away what Ohtani's doing because I wouldn't be able to hit in his spot. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to take away anything that he's done. But it just goes to show, is Aaron Judge having just as good of a year not being pitched to as Ohtani is being pitched to? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, it does. I don't know. Like, I think that's some odd leaps to make.
Okay,
because it's like, fair. I mean, like, if Judge was getting the same number of hittable pitches, and if Judge was in the same spot Shohei was in, like, I mean, Judge might be able to put up at least the home run numbers. I don't think Judge is ever going to hit the stolen base numbers, right? But right. The home run numbers, but he isn't getting those pitches, and Shohei is, and he is doing damage at every level, right. Every part of the game, beginning of the game, middle of the game, end of the game, clutch situations. I mean, there's nothing that this guy does that hurts a baseball club. Not that Judge is hurting a baseball club, but Ohtani gets up with guys on, with guys not on. No outs, 1 out, 2 outs, trailing, winning by a lot, need a home run to take the lead, need a home run to tie it. Like, whatever the situation is, this guy seems to get up and come through. So it's like, I mean, I think you just have to judge it on, like, not what could be, not the ifs, but like what actually is happening. And I don't know how, and this is to take nothing away from the seasons that Judge is having or that Bobby Witt Jr. is having, but like, it's Ohtani for me, and it's really not close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you measure it. You know, when you look at 50-50 and all those things, those are all tremendous historic seasons. But when you look at the measure of value, he's the 5th best player in baseball. And even offensive WAR versus offensive WAR, he's number 3 just on the offensive side alone. It depends on how you measure the value a player brings. Home runs and RBIs, he's got you. Batting average, a bunch of other guys have him. On base, a bunch of other guys have him. Like, what are you looking for? What is the ultimate measure of a player's value? It's really subjective to the person. I mean, you could argue that he's having either the best season in baseball this year or he's the 5th best player in baseball this year.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's also like, what does the team need out of him too?
Yeah, he's
Right?
doing.
And
Don't need him to play defense. They don't need him to do anything.
right,
Drive and runs, and that's what he's done. He's the leadoff,
right.
so he's dropping some home runs there. He's stealing bases and creating havoc for the guys behind him. In the Dodgers system, that's what they need. Would that work everywhere? I mean, I think a 50-50 season probably works for most teams, but he also wouldn't be batting leadoff for most teams either. So it's all about the situation, how you measure value, what you're looking for, and that's very subjective. I don't think there's a clear way to just point and say, yeah, because of this, this, and this, number one. Like it depends.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Judge has got 2 legs out of the Triple Crown. He's trailing Bobby Witt only an average by 11 points. So, I mean, he's not going to get a Triple Crown there. But, I mean, Shohei's stats are ridiculous. He leads the league in plate appearances, runs. He has 128 runs, 53 home runs, 123 RBIs. I mean,
And what's he at? 55 swipes, 54 swipes,
55 stolen bases. Yeah, 55. So he's 53 club right now, which, I mean, it's insane. But yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought about that. Like, who is having the best overall season?
Well, I mean, Harrison's got a legitimate point. I mean, I think it is. It depends on what you're valuing. But I look at something like 50-50 like doesn't happen. Like, we're not talking about a guy that's like leading the National League in RBIs, leading the National League in home runs, top 5 in other stats, but it's all like measures and marks that have been hit before. It's just, the best of this. Like, we're talking about something that hasn't been done before.
Right.
Which I think, yes, it's true that, what would you say it was offensive WAR? He was the 5th, Harrison?
Yeah, he's number 4 in offensive WAR and 5th in WAR overall, and he's 5th in wins above average.
Okay.
But he's behind guys like, so Judge is 1, Witt is 2, Gunnar Henderson is 3, Jarren Duran is 4, then Shohei. The difference with all those other, well, I should say not all those other guys, Witt, Henderson, and Duran, they play elite level defense. Then in some cases, preventing a run is just as good as driving one in. So when you look at the total package for some of these guys, they are arguably more valuable. The only players offensively that are better than Shohei overall are Henderson, Witt, and Judge.
WAR-wise.
Offensive WAR. Yeah. And wins above average.
Yeah. I mean, it's remarkable. But
it is. It's I mean, it's an interesting argument. I mean, I think for me, just the 50-50 club is not something I was expecting to see this year.
No.
And with the way that he had done it, if I was a voter, I mean, I would, to me, it's not really that close, but I get it. I get the argument, but to me, it's Shohei by a margin.
But think about how impressive it is that let's looking at a measure of value. Shohei's had a 50-50 season, and there's still arguably 3 or 4 guys that have brought more to their team than he has. Like, there is some insane talent in baseball right now where a 50-50 season is arguably not the best season in the league, because you've got some guys doing, I mean, every night somebody's 30-30, Ellie De La Cruz 25-60, first time in history. I feel like every night there's a headline about somebody doing something we haven't seen before. Francisco Lindor, 3-time 30-30 guy. Now Bobby Witt,
generally it's
3-time 30-30 guy.
And generally it's young dudes.
It is. It's crazy the level of talent we have in the league right now.
Yeah. That's what makes baseball so great for me, is like we could sit here for hours and debate the best season ever, the best player ever. But like, it's all how you view and perceive the game and what you value most as a baseball fan. So, but I mean, I'm with you. Like, it's been impressive to watch this guy just get up. Doesn't seem like the pressure gets to him. I mean, even from the beginning of the season and all that junk that happened, like, didn't phase him one bit. Just came out and just put up 50 bombs and 50 swipes. Like, it's crazy.
That's a good point, Nick. I mean, you take that, how the season started with all that stuff swirling around him, and it almost makes it more impressive. And it just didn't seem to phase him.
No, he basically
Like,
said,
it just didn't.
I'm just
it's
going to
like-
focus and dive in and shut out all the sound.
Which is like, I mean, talk about mental toughness and fortitude, and like that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all forget that Ipe was there in April until he got fired because this whole thing
Right.
exploded.
Shit. Dude, I can't even do two things at once when I'm like on my phone and my wife's asking me to do something. I can't imagine trying to block out that type of noise.
Seriously.
It's crazy. But
yeah, and I think that, but I do think that's you look at that ball club too, and like there's probably not a better environment for a guy like Shohei to go into when you've got guys like Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith. I mean, those are some pros that you're hanging out with. These guys come to the ballpark. They do it the right way. They work together. They have each other's back. Like, it wasn't like he was playing for the Angels anymore. That was kind of a disaster where he'd be the only one in the spotlight and have to deal with that. Like, these are professionals he's around every day.
Yeah.
That's a totally different, or that's a different clubhouse than most, I would imagine.
And say what you want about Dave Roberts and what he does in the playoffs.
He still sucks as a manager.
As an in-game manager, but we don't know how he manages his team personally.
No, the players love him.
And right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have a manager that can bind a clubhouse full of stars that the Dodgers are, then that helps a lot. You know, I mean, in-game management aside.
He and Aaron Boone are like the same guy. The players love them. They have their back. They will fight. I mean, Aaron Boone goes out there every night and looks like an idiot, ignoring the obvious, like Gleyber Torres is a terrible defender. But he will never say anything publicly bad about his players. He's always got their back, just like Dave Roberts does.
And
Players
he's the first
love him.
one out of the dugout. First one out of the dugout, too.
He takes good care of them, but neither one of them can manage the flow of a game when it's happening. They just can't. They can't manage a bullpen. They can't manage rotation. They can't manage in-game changes, but the players love them.
Yep. All right. We are going to move on to John Fisher and the Oakland A's. A statement was released this afternoon. You've probably seen it kicking around. I'm not going to put it on here, but I'm going to read the section that I thought was the most interesting, and then we'll kind of get into it. It said that A's are a part of the fabric of Oakland, the East Bay, and the entire Bay Area. When I bought the team in 2005, our dream was to win world championships, build a new ballpark in Oakland. Over the next 18 years, we did our very best to make that happen. We proposed and pursued 5 different locations in the Bay Area, and despite mutual and ongoing efforts to get a deal done for the Howard Terminal project, we came up short. Only in 2021, after 16 years of working exclusively on developing a home in the Bay Area and faced with a binding MLB agreement to find a new home by 2024, did we begin to explore taking the team to Las Vegas. So I'm going to stop it there because to me, that seems like he is trying to deflect everything that has happened. I mean, he's taking no fault in what has happened in Oakland. For me, that's how I read that.
Yeah.
How did you guys take that?
I think in fairness to John Fisher, he didn't exactly have full control over this process. So that they did have the binding agreement with MLB to find a new home because the Coliseum was basically deemed uninhabitable any longer. It was at a point where the level of repair it needed, the city refused to make. MLB basically said, well, you can't stay. You got to go. So they explored all kinds of Bay Area locations. One of them was in or 2 of them were in Oakland. One of them was there's an old college site. The other one was the Howard Terminal project that they had the renderings for that then kind of got blown up. So I think did John Fisher like try his hardest to stay? No, he didn't. Did MLB say you have to move? Yes, they did. Did Oakland say that we're going to work with you and then maybe change their mind? They also did that. But I don't think anybody here was negotiating in good faith. Oakland, I think, knew he was leaving. MLB said you can't stay where you are. And John Fisher goes, well, I'm going to go make a deal with somebody. And he did. And Vegas was the one that worked. Is he totally innocent in this? Absolutely not. But was it a good situation to be in? No, your home is crumbling. The city's only mildly supportive, and MLB saying you have to do something. And so in that case, sometimes you got to make a bad decision because you have to make a decision. And I think that's where this came out.
Yeah. Sean, what are your feelings on it?
Yeah, no, I mean, Does it seem like he's placing all the blame at the feet of Major League Baseball? Yeah. But I would say that's probably where a lot of it does end up lying, though. You know, like I'm not going to pretend to have been like breaking news on this from like the very beginning, but from kind of what I've read and talking with you guys through the whole thing, like I think if it could have worked out and they could have stayed in Oakland, he would have stayed in Oakland. Like I think he wanted to stay in Oakland, but it's also like it is a business. And if he has an opportunity to save the business, and there are other places that are willing to work with him to do that, like I also think he would be negligent to not do that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I mean, maybe he came off a little heavy-handed with the statement, but I don't know. I can't say I blame him.
Yeah.
I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably try to deflect as much as I possibly could as well. Considering like I now have a platform where I can go make a statement, like, man, use it. Use your platform. Make your statement.
Yeah. He's protecting the brand. I mean, that's what he's trying to do.
We have an opportunity to make a statement and push some of this away from us. Like, I think that'd be pretty silly not to use that platform to make that statement.
Yeah. And I've said it before, and I said it again before we went on tonight. And I think you guys agree. Like, I would not give John Fisher the benefit of the doubt if it wasn't for the fact that every other team is left too. The Raiders bailed. The Golden State Warriors bailed. Everybody's left Oakland. And they all left because the city would not work with them. So do I think that the city owns some of this? Well, yeah, this will be the third time a major franchise has walked away in 5 years? Like, that's not a good track record for Oakland.
Well, considering Oakland lost the Raiders, got the Raiders back, and then lost them again.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like
you lost the Raiders twice.
Yeah.
You lost the Raiders twice. The Golden State Warriors left. Like, your track record, the city of Oakland does not have a great track record with keeping these organizations. Now they got nobody. And Oakland can't say, well, it's boo-hoo, poor us, like we got hosed. No, this is the third time. Like, at some point, you own some of the problem here. So I give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt because the track record of the city of Oakland isn't great. But I don't think he was trying that hard to stay. I think he saw a better deal and took it. To Sean's point, it's a business. Would you rather be on the Strip in Vegas or on the waterfront in Oakland? The Strip in Vegas has got a lot of activity.
I mean, there's no way, like you would probably know this better than I would, Harrison, but there's no way this guy's raking in money the last handful of years as with the Oakland A's.
I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure the Oakland Athletics were marginally profitable last year. So is he making a lot of money? No, but I'm sitting there thinking, okay, you now have an opportunity to kind of start over. Yep.
Protect the brand as much as we can now, and then kind of rebrand a little bit in Vegas. I mean, you're probably seeing dollar signs there too.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I'm sure there's some selfish. Yeah, I'm sure there's some selfish, but he should be. I mean, it's his team.
Oh yeah, I totally.
I can't say I keep coming back to the fact like I can't say I fault the guy for it.
Yeah, my question going forward is Vegas still on board? Because I mean, the last time we've kind of talked about it, like the mayor didn't want it, but legislation passed it. Like I don't know where Vegas stands on it because they still haven't even broke ground on that. So how long are they going to be in Sacramento for?
They're not scheduled to break ground until 2026, I think, anyways. Because I don't think they move in until after the 2028 season. They got a few years where they're going to be floating.
Dang, crazy. Yeah. They'll go play like where the Fresno Grizzlies play for a little bit, and then Fresno will go play where the A's were playing. Like it's like stadium musical chairs there for a little bit, but crazy.
Oh, I apologize. In 2022, the Oakland Athletics had a profit of $62.2 million. They were fifth in the league.
How does that make sense?
Well, that was before the TV deal got cut. So last year, I bet they saw their revenue decline and their profit decline as well. But
I would have lost that bet, dude. That the 2022 Oakland A's had a profit of 62 million?
62.2 million.
I would have lost that bet.
Yeah. But how much is that its revenue share? Does it say?
It's a big piece of its revenue share.
But still, it's still a
profit.
Yeah, he made $60 million for a team that went 60-102 that year.
Right. Yeah. It's still a profit.
Crazy.
Yeah. But that was before the TV deals got all screwed up, and so I have to see if I can find something more recent. But so has he made money? Yeah, he's made money. Even as the team has been not very good.
Atrocious.
Although
Well,
you look at this year's team, there's some talent on that team, and that team could be good in a few years.
Well, isn't that the story of the
Vegas
Yankees the
may
last 8
benefit.
years, though? I mean, outside of a couple outlier years, I mean, that's the story with Oakland. Is they got some young players. And then they just can't seem to put it together.
Yeah, they bring a batch of them up. They're good for a couple years. Then they all go and they start over. They build them back up. They're good for a couple years. I mean, remember the seasons with Chapman on one end and Olsen on the other? And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those teams were good for like
Sean
2 years.
Murphy.
And then, yeah,
Sean Murphy
that's right.
was one.
Those teams were good for a couple years. And then all the talent off to other markets.
Well, I mean, there's already rumors floating around that Rooker's going to be dealt in the offseason. You have Urseg out of the bullpen that throws 155 miles an hour that already went to the Royals and for their back half. So, like, they're already starting to, ship out those pieces or rumors of shipping out those pieces. And don't sleep on Lawrence Butler either. There's a team out there that will give a package for that dude.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Every team should be signing up to get
He's
that
a good
kid.
player.
He is. Yeah. He and Rooker are a nasty combination.
Yeah.
And hey, Sean, that same 2022 season, that's the year the Mets lost 138.5 million because Cohen paid all those contracts.
That's right.
That was a bad
year.
So
the Mets lost 130 something million, and the Oakland A's were in the green 62.2.
Yeah, only a $200 million swing.
What a world.
Yeah, the Mets lost 9 figures.
Man,
that was a good year for Cohen.
Well, speaking about missing some figures here, CJ Abrams is sent to single A after staying at a casino till 8 a.m. the next morning, and they had a game at 1:25 that afternoon. So it'll cost him about $30,000 in pay, but. Yeah, he was sent to the minor league complex at West Palm Beach in Florida to finish off the season. It won't affect his first-time arbitration Super 2 player because he's played in too many games, 172 games. So it doesn't affect anything arbitration-wise. But this couldn't have been the first time he did something like this, right? I mean, this had to have been like, hey, dude, this is strike 2 or strike 3. Like, we've warned you now that this is right.
I guess we now know where Ipe ended up. He's with the Nationals, hanging out with Abrams.
So I was thinking a similar type thing. Like when I saw it break, was it Saturday? That came down.
Something like
Excuse me. I remember thinking like, there's got to be a little more to this. Maybe not that like it's happened to like this degree before, but like, who knows? I mean, it just could be like serial, like late for team meetings or like, holding up the team plane. Like it just could be like just this kind of serial situation of just like putting himself before the team. I don't know, but because I mean, it seemed like if it's a one-time thing, like this late in the, like that seems a bit drastic. Like logically you think like this, something else is kind of going on there. I have no idea, but it's just a thought.
So
but granted, it is only a week left of baseball. We're only a week away from the playoffs. So I mean, really, it's only like what, a 4 or 5 game suspension, like team suspension.
Yeah, but
basically.
So
but it's a set. But you got to set the. I mean, this is
that's
something
a big message.
Oh, no, I get it.
But, right, and if this is a kid that you want to be part of the club moving forward and a piece of the club, a centerpiece, like this is a message of like this is not acceptable.
Right.
Like we can't have this. Like we need to be able to rely on our guys. And if you're one of our guys, we have to be able to rely on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say it was the Washington Post had written about this, and the thinking was because Dave Roberts, wrong Dave, his comment was the fact that it wasn't based on performance. Like this was strictly a disciplinary thing, which maybe that's how they're spinning it. But the Washington Post had talked a little bit about the fact that when you look at the split of Abrams, he had a great first half. He's been hitting 203 in the second half. And the Nationals were asking him to get in there for extra BP and be a leader and show these guys that when we struggle, we dig in. And then he was at a craps table or whatever till 8 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, dude, you can't do this. Like you can't have a crappy second half and then mail it in at the end. That's the wrong tone, the wrong message. You're now one of our most visible players and becoming a leader. So we got to make a statement in kind to what you did. So goodbye. You're going to the minors, and we're gonna make it hurt, and we're gonna embarrass you a little bit to get our point across that this isn't what we do here.
And I think that's what makes me think that it's not the first time it's happened, because you usually deal with that stuff in-house and it doesn't get out. Right. And this somehow everybody knows about this. Like, that tells me that this isn't the first time he's done it. It wouldn't make sense for me if it was like a one slip up and we're just going to embarrass the crap out of you type situation.
I mean, hell, Mo Vaughn rolled a Hummer, came out of the Foxy Lady and played the next day. So stuff happens. But this was definitely the team sending a message to a young player of, if you're going to be our leader, you're going to commit. You're going to put in the extra effort. You're going to be that guy. And we're going to remind you of the fact that we expect that of you.
Yeah, I mean, particularly if that report from the Washington Reporters is true too. Like, if he's skidding down the whole second half and they're asking him to put in some extra work and be a leader, the team approaches you to say, hey, man, like, we look at you as a leader. We know you're a young guy, but like, we look at you as a leader of this franchise. We need you to dig in. And then the opposite happens.
And then you go do that.
I think, I think you don't have much of a choice if you're the organization.
Yeah.
You lose face with that entire franchise if you let this kid do that, and and nothing happens.
Yeah, because that's an aggressive message to send, of sending your all-star to the minor leagues the last week and a half of the season. Like, that's not like a kangaroo court fine in the clubhouse because you're screwed off. Like, that's we're telling the world we're pissed at you. Yeah, and we want everybody to know.
Yeah, this screams to me that they had a sit-down meeting face to face, and you're like, hey, dude, do not blow through curfew again, ever again. And then boom, stays out till 8 a.m. And it's like, okay, well, you clearly don't care. We're sending you to Florida. I mean, that's what this screams to me.
When your top guy is in the casino till 8 o'clock in the morning at the end of the season because he's mailing it in, it's not a good look.
Yeah. I mean, you could just tell the batters what pitch is coming and just get cut by your team completely. So.
I mean, you could just go home. That's a better deal.
That was crazy.
If you never want to play again.
That was nuts. Yeah, we talked about that last week. It was nuts.
Yeah, what 6th-round pick throws his career away because he's homesick or whatever? This is weird.
Nuts. All right, moving on to one of the funniest ejections I've seen in a little bit. So to Altuve's credit, which I kind of hate that this isn't challengeable, but I get it, I guess. He fouls a pitch off his front foot. He grounds out to third. And Altuve staying in the box. They call him out because no one saw it hit his toe. And he starts to come unglued. Manager comes out. They get tossed. Altuve takes off his shoe, takes off his sock, and is pointing at his toe and screaming. And the ump just doesn't even look at him while he's doing it. Just glances over, just tosses him. One of the funniest things. Yeah. I was watching that game live, and I was laughing the entire time. I was like, "Oh my god, that was incredible!" But
yeah, I put a link in the chat. If you haven't seen it, you can watch the video there. It is hilarious
comedy.
Yeah.
And it started off so calmly, and then he just lost his mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, crazy. It's funny, but all right. Let's move on to the Reds firing David Bell. With a week left. Did he stay out? I think he stayed out at a casino till 8 a.m. That's my only guess.
Well, like Sean said, it's odd timing. Like they had 5 or 6 games left, and you let this guy go. Like, let him just finish off a couple of series and then say goodbye after the season's over. Like, why? What are you doing firing a guy like that's that respected, who's done a lot for you with a week left? Like, that just seems ridiculous. Just finish the season.
Yeah, and it's not like there's enough time, like whether they're in the race or out of the race. Like, if there was a month left, it's like, okay, like maybe we have an eye on a younger interim guy that we want to see, or maybe, we're challenging the players to say, hey, you got this guy fired, but we think that this is a better club. So you guys prove it to us. Who wants to be here for next year? Like that whole kind of thing. Like, there's not enough time left for any of that to take place. It's just like the odd time, like there's nothing that's going to happen from here. Like, you're not lighting a fire under anybody.
Yeah. We were kind of
You
talking
know?
about that a couple weeks ago with, was it the Grady Sizemore hiring, right? We were like, oh, the timing's a little weird.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you just
Yeah.
finish out the season? But like you said, you had 2 or 3, 4 weeks to like figure out what
Yeah,
you
that was
got.
a little over a month left
Yeah.
when they did that.
Yeah. This one is really weird. You got a week left. You got 6 games left, give or take.
Yeah.
Weird. It is really weird.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw their president of baseball operations, Nick Krall, came out and actually talked to the media. Was this yesterday? Might have been yesterday.
After they fired him?
Yeah, it was the day after they fired him. And he spoke to the media for quite a while about it. And there's some quotes in it that were a little interesting. So don't forget, they extended David Bell at the end of last year. They gave him a fresh contract because they were committing to him with this core. And one of the comments Krall makes is, over the last few years, he was the right person for this job. But there were some philosophical differences in where we were. And as we evaluated things over the last couple months, we felt we needed to make a change. And he kept harking on, they need to see the players getting better at this level. So guys like Ellie De La Cruz has come forward. Hunter Green's come forward. Will Benson's had a huge regression. Noel V. Marte got suspended. Matt McLean was hurt. Encarnacion Strand played terribly, so badly they sent him down. The rotation was kind of a mess. And they're going back to, we need somebody that can get these young guys to be better at this level. And maybe they felt that Bell couldn't develop these guys at that level in season. But at the same time, half of them were hurt or suspended in Marte's case. Like, he didn't have the full group. So you're talking about the fact you underperformed and guys aren't coming forward, but you were missing half of your core. So it's like, how do you evaluate that? But ultimately the Reds feel like there's a difference in the approach or what they think needs to happen. And the decision was made, well, we got to go with somebody else. Even though we just extended Bell, made the commitment that he was that guy, we changed our mind. We got to go in a different direction now.
For me,
I don't have
interesting.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with any of that. But all of those things are still true a week from now.
Right. Right.
Like all of those things are still true a week from now. So I mean, I get it. And that very well, I mean, obviously I'm not in the building every day. I mean, if they have some philosophical differences and they are starting to really doubt whether or not he's the right guy to develop some of these young, then yes, that's the right move. You got to move on from him. But like, I mean, to kind of, again, we talk about the way that the Nationals embarrassed CJ Abrams. I mean, this is kind of an embarrassing thing for David Bell.
It is.
I mean, this is 1 week from now, you could do this a whole lot quieter.
Yeah.
You show a guy a little bit more respect. I don't know. Is that the message you want to send to future managers out there? Hey, this is how we treat our guys. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I think you could potentially be doing a whole lot more harm.
Yeah, 14 months ago, you're hugging the guy at the podium, signing a contract extension that he's your guy and he's the future of this team with this core, and all of a sudden now he's not and he's gone.
I mean, I get that.
It's
Though.
weird.
Like, those things change, though. I mean, that's sports. I mean, those things change in professional sports. Like I can't fault them too much. I mean, 14 months ago, they made a commitment that they thought was right. They played essentially an entire Major League Baseball season, and it turns out that, hey, maybe this isn't the right thing. We got to cut our losses and move. Like, that happens. Like, I don't have much of a problem with that, but it's like the timing of this is just really bizarre. Like, I don't know if they'll ever be able to get me kind of on their side with that. Like,
for me,
like I said, 6 days from now, the exact same thing can happen.
Yeah.
Nothing changes, and you don't have to embarrass a guy.
Yeah, the only thing they said was that they wanted to start the search right away. It didn't make sense to drag it out. But you could start the search without firing him. Just let him know that, hey, we're gonna wrap up the year and let you go quietly. They want to get their search started right away. Because
drag it out is crazy, dude. It's 6 days.
Yeah, who are you hiring right now? Like, who are you going to go out and get as a manager right now? Like, this week.
It's a double-edged sword for me, because you built this core knowing that they were crazy young. Right. I mean, last year we were talking about, they started a game against the Diamondbacks that 8 of the 9 starters were rookies. These guys are going to go
and
through,
not like 25-year-old rookies. Like, some of these guys can't buy a beer.
Right. I'm like, you are gonna have those growing pains, and you're saying at the end of 22, knowing that these young kids are coming up, that you want David Bell in that seat, right? With these young kids. Look at how often a sophomore slump happens, right? Corbin Carroll's start of the year was terrible. He found it, turned it around. Yes, the back half of the year, they should have found it. They should have started getting better. And maybe that's what the organization saw and was like, okay, we have to move on from him. But to me, like, they knew the core was young and they wanted Bell there for that. And then now all of a sudden we're just like, oh, never mind. With 6 days left.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You got to give them some leeway. Like, they are the ones that are in the building every day, and they're the ones that have the vision on what they're looking for on these young kids. And maybe it's probably like if you were to get some like truth serum into these guys, it's probably a lot more than just like a sophomore slump or a bad second half after the All-Star break. Like, they're seeing these guys every day. It might be that now that David Bell got, and I shouldn't say this because I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just throwing it out there, but maybe it's, hey, once David Bell got his extension, maybe he doesn't ride the guys and push them as much as he did before. Maybe he's much more lackadaisical in the clubhouse. Maybe he's not getting on these guys' cases about, extra work in the tee, extra work in the cage, extra work in the film room. I don't know. But if that's the case, well, then I think they have a legitimate reason for saying, hey, this isn't the direction we want to go in. So I think it's more than just like the statistics of, hey, these young guys aren't improving at the level we want. It's more than just the numbers on the field. I think it's probably a lot more to do with, what are these guys doing off the field? Kind of what is the work ethic looking like? Like, are these guys growing as a core of a team, or are these guys individual me guys? And is that being promoted by David Bell, and that's not the culture we're looking for?
Right.
Yeah,
the
and
whole
if all
package
those things are, and I think that, again, these front office guys, like, they're in the clubhouse every day. Like, they know what they're looking for. Clearly, they're not seeing what it is that they're looking for, and they've decided to move on. I don't have a problem with any of that. The timing of it is bizarre for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and so one of the names already linked to the Reds is David Ross, because he's got that track record with young players. But I agree with you, Sean. For all we know, young players are going to the president of baseball ops there, Crawl, going, I can't work with this guy. Like I need this, I need that. Like, I'm not getting what I need. Or maybe he's not connecting with some of these young players, or, we don't know what's happening in the building, but it seems strange that things change so much so fast. It seems strange to let him go with a week left in the season, because what's the point? It's an odd look, but maybe it is the right decision, because it's hard to tell from the outside. And you put David Ross with that group, that's actually not a bad move.
Yeah.
Jay says, did you know the Angels are the only franchise in all of MLB to never have a 100-loss season? So crazy.
And they won't have it this year.
Won't have it this year.
Boy, no, they tried.
They did. No 100-win seasons out of anybody this year either, which is crazy. So nuts. All right. Double pitching triple crown watch. So we got Tariq Skubal right now, 17 wins, leads the league, 2.48 ERA, leads the league, 221 Ks, leads the league. So he's got, season ends tonight. He's got the triple crown. And then good old Sean Bogue's Cy Young pick, because he got traded from the Boston Red Sox to the.
I said that tongue in cheek, dude. I didn't expect this year from him. Yeah, that was a tongue in cheek comment.
Everybody knew he would do it, but nobody thought it would happen.
Yeah. So Chris Sale's sitting at 18 wins right now, 2.38 ERA, 225 strikeouts. I saw a stat the other day. He has thrown more innings this year than he did his entire career with the Red Sox.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was sad.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But
I hope we see both. I hope they both win it. I hope we see both.
That'd be amazing. I would love to see it. But does Sale have the best ERA in the National League? I thought
it's highlighted right now. So it says 2.38, which means he's the league leader. League leader.
Does Skeens not qualify?
Maybe not.
Because he walked off the mound the day at 1.99.
Yeah, because what is it? It's like 1 inning per game played by team, I think, is how I think is how you have to qualify. I think you have to pitch it's like 1.1 innings per game played by your
Skeens
team.
is 11 and through the 1.99 in 22
Yeah.
starts and 131 innings.
131
So I wonder if the
innings,
cutoff is like 140 or 150 didn't make it. Still, I mean, his season was bonkers. But
Yeah, he was
Chris Sale has
unbelievable.
done it all year.
Yeah.
Yes, a 6 WAR for a guy who's only up there for 2/3 of the season.
Okay, yeah. So in order to qualify for pitching titles in average categories, you must average at least 1 inning pitched for every game his team has played in.
So 162 is the qualifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
All right.
But
so
yeah,
he-
so
he to go.
yeah, so Scooble and Sale could both possibly win Triple Crown, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
But, yeah. All right.
I hope they both get it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. As we ended the City Connects this year, we thought we were done with them, but last week they announced that the Rockies were retiring theirs. Who was the other team?
Marlins.
Marlins. And then now Houston has said that this weekend will be the last weekend that they'll wear the Space City, and they will have new ones next year as well. So here we go. Another trip around the MLB.
I was so done with this program and so relieved it was
I can't
over.
care any less.
No, I'm with you.
can't
Like
care
I
any
could
less.
not possibly care any less about another round of City Connects. I mean, although I would love to have a season where we don't talk about uniforms, the fact that like they shred, the colors don't match, they look ugly. Like I just would like to see MLB going next year with uniforms that are functional.
Amen, brother.
and
And if they
like hell.
don't, I can't talk about them anymore. I just don't care. I couldn't care any less.
No, I'm done.
All right.
I'm done. I'm done with the beer league softball uniforms and the uniforms that shred. I'm done.
All right. Well, moving on then. Okay.
We're over.
Okay. Right before we popped on, I'm talking like we were about ready to hit the go live button, and it comes through Bleacher Report. Charlie Blackman has announced his retirement. 14-year career, all with the Rockies, 4-time All-Star. He will be in the Rockies Hall of Fame, no doubt. This dude was such a rock for
He's
them.
a legend in that city.
Yeah. I loved watching him as a player too. Like when he was in his prime, dude. So much fun to watch.
He was a dirt dog.
Yeah, absolutely. But I honestly, 14 years seems short for me. I felt like he was there for like 25. Like no joke.
Yeah.
Seems like he's been there forever.
I feel like he and Bud Black like came in together, didn't they? I mean, those guys have been there forever.
Yeah. But I mean, good
he's
for
the
him.
only constant on that team. It's been nothing but change around him.
Yeah. So absolutely insane. So good for him.
Yeah,
it's
nice
a
little
pleasure watching him.
career. Nice little career for Charlie Blackman.
Yeah.
Nice little
absolutely.
career for sure.
And I hope
Yep.
there's enough time in the season where they can at least have some sort of way to honor him during the last couple games. I'm not sure if they have any home games, but those fans deserve a chance to thank him because he is absolutely a legend in that city.
Yeah.
For all the right reasons. Not only was he a good ball player, but just a great guy in the community.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to get into the standings and the playoff races now and all of that stuff. The Twins and Royals have absolutely collapsed here.
I'm not ready to talk about it.
Yeah, it's bad right now. Twins 11 wins in their last 33 games. The Royals have 2 7-game losing streaks this past month. And the Detroit Tigers are sitting in the AL wildcard spot.
Sure are, and they were my pick to win the division. So they're not going to win the division, but they look like they're going to be playing some postseason games.
Yeah,
and boy, was their timing good. I mean, they got hot at the right time as these two teams just the Royals and Twins have literally done everything possible to not stay in the playoffs. I mean, the Royals, what was it, 2 weeks ago, were tied with the Cleveland Guardians to lead in the division, and now they're 7 games back. Like that fast.
Yeah.
They fell out.
The Royals' magic number, I believe, last Monday was.
It's been 2 weeks now.
2 weeks was 7, and it sits at. It was 6 last time I knew. It might
Still
be
6.
Still 6
because no, sorry, it's 5 because there's 6 games left and they've got a 1-game lead.
Yeah,
they've taken 2 games. Their magic number was 7 before that Detroit Tigers series where they then got swept, and they literally chipped 1 game off of it in a week and a half and one more game off of it. I mean, honestly, at this point, I almost want to see the Royals and Twins both fall out because they clearly don't want to go. Let's put the Tigers and the Mariners in there and see what happens. Because like the Twins and Royals are trying their damnedest. Now, granted, I will give the Royals a little bit of a break. They lost some key guys over the last few weeks that have definitely hurt. Yeah. But they are doing everything possible to give it back.
Dude, the Mariners can't hit against bad pitching. There's nothing they're going to be able to do if they get into the postseason. It's going to be hard to watch.
I don't trust the Royals and Twins are going to do much either the way they're playing. I mean, if you limp in the playoffs like this, it's not a good sign.
I watched the Mariners the other night, the whole game when Jacob deGrom made his first start. Granted, it's Jacob deGrom. That is a tough lineup to watch if you're a Mariners fan.
It hurts. They don't even put good at bats together, let alone the results. Like it's not even. They don't even put together good at bats.
What that whole clip that Randy Arozarena went deep on the 3-0, like he's like bailing out. I don't know if you've seen that. He like bails out of the first 3 pitches. It's a 3-0 count. Then he turns on. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? Yes, the end result was cool, but why are you?
You can't rely on that kind of stuff, though.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're practically throwing away an at bat. Because how many times can you actually do that? Bail out 3 times and hit a 3-0 pitch over the wall.
That was the worst.
Twice a season,
was
maybe.
So bad.
Maybe. I just hate that. But that, I mean, it's obviously the at bats aren't quite that bad, but like their approach at the plate is horrendous. They're tough to watch.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's bad.
They're tough.
It's bad. Tough. They're undisciplined. They're flailing. They don't put together good at bats. They cannot hit with runners in scoring position. They cannot move runners. Like they don't do anything offensively well, but they pitch well enough that they can luck their way into some wins because their pitching staff is elite.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see them in the playoffs because that pitching staff will shut anybody down.
So with 6 to go, who's going?
For the wild cards?
I mean, because we've already clinched, right? So we have Yankees have clinched, Guardians have clinched, and have
the Astros have.
And the Astros have. So our division leaders have all clinched.
The Orioles will likely clinch tomorrow night.
Yep.
I think it's going to be I'm taking the Royals and the Tigers. I think the Twins are so lost that they won't be able to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you on that. I think I'm there. Tigers and Royals.
Who are they? Are any of them playing each other this week? It's pretty bad. I should have looked at the schedule. But because I mean those could be some big series this week if that's happening.
Yeah.
No, so the Royals
whoever gets to finish with the White Sox.
Yeah, the Royals are at Washington for 3 and then at the Braves for 3.
Oh. Although the Braves have not been good lately and they fell out of the playoffs like we thought they would.
Yeah.
And then who else was I looking up? Detroit.
The Twins are at Miami. And then
the Tigers are at the Rays.
At the Rays, at the White Sox.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The Twins are home against Miami. My apologies. And then they've got Baltimore. They wrap up with Baltimore. So the Twins are home for the Marlins and the Orioles.
Man.
And Detroit wraps up with the White Sox. Wow. I think that schedule favors them.
Just a little bit. Yeah, so I'm with you there for sure. All right, hop over to the National League. So we got Dodgers, Phillies, and Brewers have all clinched. Padres are hot. They've been playing really well. And Braves are 2 out. The Mets, Sean, are in that last wild card spot there.
Yeah.
I don't think the Braves can catch them. They have been pretty mediocre. As we said, once they lost Riley, it was kind of like there's not.
I mean, they're playing each other.
Yes, which helps.
So starting tomorrow, I mean, this essentially the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series is going to tell you who's in.
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Because it's New York at Atlanta. So I mean that's it. Those 3 games right there are essentially going to tell you who is in that wild card spot.
Atlanta's got a sweep to pick up a game. 2 out of 3 they come out of a game back.
Right.
And Lindor I saw something today saying that he's going to come back and play hurt, like not 100%. So,
dude, it's like a spinal thing, like these
Doesn't sound
joint
good.
whatever things. And listen, I appreciate the fact that like, dude, we're talking about like your likely like inability to like get out of bed and play with your kids. Like, let's just. I mean, I would love to see him play. I love him, and I've said it so many times on this podcast. I hate how he's treated by like general Met fans. Like I hate it.
It's bad
because I love the guy, but I don't know if that's the right move. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So you're taking your Mets in that last wild card spot then, right?
No question. No question.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Let's go Mets.
Now the D-backs are tied with the Mets for that spot too.
The Mets, yeah.
The D-backs could, I hope to hell not, could also fall out of that spot. Which
slip out, yeah. They got San Fran, and then who do they close with after San Fran?
The D-backs?
Yeah,
they have San Fran, and then who's their final series?
San Diego.
The Padres.
But they're home, at least for the Padres. But the Padres like brutalized them last time they played.
Yeah.
And then the Mets also finished with Milwaukee. So the Mets have the Braves and then the Brewers. Not the easiest finish.
No, but the Brewers have clinched.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
They haven't?
No, they have.
They have.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Right. But they could just be trying to line up their rotation for whatever comes. But
Right.
So they could. Yeah, I don't know. I just
we'll
hope
see.
my D-backs
listen, if you're the Mets right now, like you can't worry about that, right? It's 3 games against Atlanta for legitimate, essentially the right to play in the postseason. That's what these 3 games are.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go take care of business. Worry about Milwaukee, if it becomes that. But
the Mets
go take 2 out of 3 from the Braves.
The Mets take 2 out of 3 from the Braves. They'd be up 3 games with 3 to play. They could get swept by the Padres and still end up in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're right. The next 3 games will be really what matters.
Yep.
So the series to watch this week, then definitely Mets and Braves, and then
Mets Braves starting tomorrow.
And then pick your poison there with the Tigers, Royals, and Twins to see. So I think your 5 teams to watch are Diamondbacks, Mets, the teams that are just barely hanging on to that wild card spot this week.
Yeah.
So
Richard, we agree. The Dodgers have no starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stay on the field, man.
It's bad.
Sean and I were talking about it last week where Dave Roberts came out and said that he wouldn't be surprised if Shohei pitched in the playoffs. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that personally.
The last thing you want to do is hurt this guy's arm because you're rushing back to pitch in the playoffs. Now, they've got nobody to pitch, and they may be looking at it as, if he can, we need him. But I would hate to see them go and hurt him. Something more permanently because they got no arms.
I mean, Jay's sitting there saying Padres are 3 behind the Dodgers, and they are, but they got the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They got the Dodgers coming up starting tomorrow night.
They do.
Right. So that's good series to watch too.
That's a series to watch for the division. This is no wild card race. This is a division race.
Yeah, right. That division is not settled yet.
So
yeah, I mean, and this is a well-documented rivalry that will be fun to watch.
A lot of late nights in my future this week.
I hate that it's on at 10. Like I hate that that's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Nothing like a good old 10-10 first pitch. But dude, Wednesday. So you're gonna go King versus Knack for the Dodgers, whatever. But Wednesday, Cease versus Flaherty.
That'll be a good matchup.
That's a game to watch.
And that's 10-10 too, right?
Of course. Of course it is, Sean.
Right.
Yep. Man.
Looks like we're watching movies on Thursday in social studies class.
Yeah, Cease versus Flaherty potentially the Padres could take game 1, be 2 games back. That becomes a must-win for the Dodgers. That
sure does.
must win for both.
Must win for the Dodgers with no pitching.
Right. Your only guy, your only starter that you've legitimately got right now is going in that game. You have to win that one.
Which you got at the trade deadline.
Right.
Like, I mean, you didn't even start the season
Well,
with him.
And then you close with Musgrove versus Buehler, and Walker Buehler, who was my Cy Young pick last year before he got hurt. He's been terrible. I mean, he's still coming back. He's still working his way back.
Yeah. It's been tough to
But
watch.
I mean, the
him
Dodgers
for sure.
legitimately have one solid starter lined up for this series, and San Diego's got arguably their three best in King, Musgrove, and Cease. I mean, maybe you could probably argue Yu Darvish probably had a Musgrove, but still, you've got the San Diego Padres come into the series lined up well. The Dodgers,
you got to feel good. Yeah, you got to feel good.
Yeah.
But you don't have Shohei.
Well, it will be.
So
you don't.
He's the great equalizer in a lot of these situations.
But you got Jackson Merrill, who's been a monster.
Yeah, he's played well.
I mean, the Dodgers were losing the other night by 1 in the bottom of the 9th, and they freaking Shohei ties it, Betts walks it off. It's just like, God damn it. Man.
Did you see the Brewers come back from down 8?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That was against my D-backs.
Right, I forgot about that. That was a D-backs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Moving on.
I had to pick that scab for you.
Yeah, thanks. It still was an open wound. It wasn't even scabbed over. All right.
Richard, Bueller is trash times 20. That's fair.
It hasn't been great.
It's hard because when he first came up, we're like, man, this kid
his stuff is so good.
Bring it. But just injuries, man. Hurts.
Yeah, he's not the same.
Saw this today with the Rangers officially out 24 straight years with a different World Series champion. That's cool. So no,
last repeat was the Yankees,
Love
right?
that.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what baseball wants, man. I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. And I that's, they expand the wild card and they give more teams a chance to get there. Like this is what MLB wanted for sure.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of wild card teams that advance to the playoffs. Like teams that may not have made it otherwise are now advancing through the playoffs and going deep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
As the Tigers have proven, you get hot at the right time, anything can happen.
Yep. Baseball, man. Gotta love it.
Wild.
Yep. All right. It is now time for trivia. So we'll take a break. Single season records in the AL is our category.
How'd you hold up without me last week?
I did okay, actually.
All right, good.
Yeah, Sean did really well.
If I remember correctly, I think I did okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There was a couple that were tough, but I think you got them. But all right, here we go.
So what you're saying is I'm no help to you. I get it. That's fine.
Yep. Okay. Who holds the franchise record for most doubles in a single season for the Baltimore Orioles?
Go ahead and give your answer, Sean.
Melvin Mora.
No.
I actually thought that could have been a legitimate answer.
He's my obligatory answer for any Orioles question.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it.
So this guy is actually number 1 and number 2 in this category.
Is it Cal?
Cal Ripken?
Nope, not Cal.
Chris Davis?
No. Think second baseman.
Brian Roberts?
Brian Roberts.
The same time we spit out Brian Roberts.
Yeah. 56 in 2009, and I think he had a 53 double season too. He had some pop there.
He was
for
a good
while.
ball player.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was.
Oh, Eddie Murray in the chat. That's a good guess too.
Yeah. You can never guess wrong with Eddie Murray, dude. That guy was a freak too. Both sides of the plate. Yeah, he's all right. All right. Who holds a franchise record for most games played in a single season for the Boston Red Sox?
Most games played. It's got to be a guy like a Trot Nixon or something, right?
Nope, before him.
How far before?
80s. Just made the Hall of Fame not that long ago.
Jim Rice? No.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jim Rice only comes 163. Oh, and 78 because they had the playoff game.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, 163. He's the only Red Sox player to play in all 163. Like a bunch of 162s, obviously.
Right.
But he's the only one to get
I should have jumped out to us that that would have been the case.
Yeah. All right, next one. Who holds the franchise record for most home runs in a single season for the Chicago White Sox?
Konerko?
Nope,
Adam Dunn.
not Adam Dunn.
Frank?
Not Frank. Frank is like 4th or 5th on the list. His highest total was only like 43, but
I
he
know.
had like 8 seasons of
Right.
43.
He
so
did
it's
it
like,
every year.
yeah.
Quentin?
Jim Thome.
No. This is a guy you probably associate with the Indians more than you do the White Sox. You forget that he was there.
Did you hear me say Thome?
Yeah, it's not Tommy.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was gonna
Sean's
say,
like, well, it's clearly
that
Tony.
was kind of Jim Thome.
You could definitely ask Fernando Vina how hard this guy
Oh,
is.
Albert Bell.
Yes. Yep. Albert Bell, 49.
That's right. I don't associate him with the White Sox.
I don't.
No.
Sure
no,
don't.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep,
Sure
I
don't.
Yeah. Oh, Jay got it. Albert Bell.
Nice job, Jay.
Yeah. So also White Sox, a long historic franchise, don't have a 50 home run guy either.
I was
so that's,
just going to say that means there's no 50 home run guy, right?
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Well, Dodgers have one now. So, all right. Next one. Who holds the franchise record for most times striking out in a single season for the Cleveland Indians / Guardians?
Hafner?
Nope. This guy came from the Rangers to the Red Sox and was an integral part of that 13 team with Johnny Gomes and all of them.
Oh, no. I was going to say Napoli, but not
It
Napoli.
is Napoli.
Oh, is it Napoli?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think of Mike Napoli with the Cleveland Indians.
Nope. 194 Ks in 2016.
That's a good one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I don't really think of him with the Indians.
Yeah. Who holds the franchise record for most saves in a season for the Detroit Tigers?
Todd Jones.
Nope. It's not a bad guess.
Badass mustache.
I don't know if I can give you many hints for this one, but you'll definitely know the name.
What years?
Is it Rodney?
Nope. The years are 2003, 2014 was his career. 2011 is when he actually led the league in saves with 49.
Wow.
I don't know.
No, not Willie something. His first name is Jose. I don't know if that helps.
I mean, it
All right.
really doesn't narrow it down much.
Okay, I get it to you.
Oh,
Jose Valverde.
I don't remember Valverde.
We would have been
being-
here all night.
Yeah, I don't remember him
We've
being
been
an
here all night.
elite level
Yeah.
closer.
That's a hard one. Yeah, 49, 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have many hints to give you on that one other than his first name's Jose. So you're welcome
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, no, that was not one I was going to get.
No, tough one. Who holds the franchise record for highest batting average in a single season for the Houston Astros?
Moises Alou.
Nope. He has the highest career, but not the highest for a season.
Oh,
Biggio?
Nope. Was a teammate of his, though.
so wasn't Bagwell.
Yes.
Not Bagwell.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bagwell 368.
Yeah.
Uh,
1994.
Yeah,
Now-
and how many games?
Right. I was just gonna
Yeah,
say.
I was
So
gonna say.
that's also the strike shortened year. So that helped him out probably.
Mhm.
But yep. 368.
Wow.
All right. Who holds the franchise record for most RBIs in a single season for the Kansas City Royals?
Salvi.
Nope.
George Brett?
No.
Bo Jackson.
No. First base DH.
Hosmer?
Nope. A little bit before him.
It's not Moustakis, was it?
Nope.
No, same time. Billy Butler?
Oh, no, Mike
No.
Sweeney.
Mike Sweeney.
Mike Sweeney. Of course. That was so dumb.
Yeah.
Of course it was Mike Sweeney.
I'm like, before him. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah. 144 in 2000.
He had a pretty swing.
That was dumb.
Yeah. He was a fun player to watch hit
He was.
for sure. All right. Who holds the franchise record for highest batting average in a single season for the California, Anaheim, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim?
I love how you always add every name.
Listen, I have to.
Probably Rod Carew, right?
It's not Rod Carew.
Single season. Erstad?
It is Darren Erstad.
Yeah,
Nice,
he had
good
one.
call.
He had like one monster season.
Yeah. 355 in 2000. Nice. Did Jay get that in the chat? He's probably a little bit behind there. But
He's a little behind us.
yeah.
He probably
All right.
knew it though.
Yeah. Who holds a franchise record for lowest whip in a single season for the Minnesota
Jay,
Twins?
Angels mentioned. We got you, Jay. Santana.
Well, they're in the American League. We have to.
True.
This one might surprise you.
So not Santana.
Nope. And
Liriano?
I'm gonna give you
Liriano.
I'm gonna give you a hint. This happened during the COVID season.
Oh,
Sonny Gray.
Nope. He was like their second or third pitcher in that rotation.
Pablo. Oh no, he wasn't there in the COVID season. He didn't get there until.
No. He is currently pitching for the Detroit Tigers, but has a 3-6 record.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It is Kenta Maeda.
Oh.
Ah,
Good old Kenta Maeda.
Yep. 0.75 in 2020. So I'll
That's
probably get
really
some
low.
I'll get some backlash for that because it was only 3 starts because they only played 60 games or something like that. Well, whatever, it was enough to qualify. So
That's
Yep,
still a low number,
0.75 in
even if it was
2020.
only in 10 starts.
yeah. Well, I mean, that splitter, like all those Japanese pitches with
gross.
those splitters, man, are crazy.
Did Maeda come there via the Dodgers? Is that how he got to Minnesota?
I believe so. That sounds right. Who holds the franchise record for most hits in a single season for the New York Yankees?
God, there's so many names to pick from.
We have
DiMaggio.
Nope, we have seen this guy play.
Oh, Jeter?
Nope, before him.
Bernie Williams.
No, a little bit before Bernie.
So before that 90s team. Or that 90s group.
Yeah. Like he might have played a
Mattingly?
few. Mattingly, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good. 86. Had 238 hits.
It's a few hits.
Yep.
It's a few.
Who holds the franchise record for highest OBP in a single season for the Oakland A's? And it's not Ricky Henderson.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
He's the automatic. Eric Chavez.
No.
Is it from that era?
Yes.
Tejada?
Nope. Other side of the diamond there.
Ellis?
Nope. Keep going.
Giambi.
Oh, Giambi. He was an on-base machine.
Yeah. 477
Yeah,
in
that dude
2001.
was an on-base machine.
Yeah.
He gets on base. Do I care if it's a walk or a hit? Sorry.
Well, I remember in Moneyball, he's talking about replacing Giambi and Damon, and he's like listing the
Yeah.
names and the on-base percentages.
Yeah. Who holds the
When he walks-
franchise?
He gets on base, Rocco. Do I care if it's a walk or a hit?
Who holds the franchise record for most runs scored in a single season for the Seattle Mariners?
Joey Cora.
No. I love Joey Cora.
Me
but
too.
it's
That
not
guy
him.
was always on base and seemed like he was always coming around to score.
Edgar?
Not Edgar. No.
Not Ichiro.
Not Ichiro. It was a very young kid that played with Edgar and Junior on that team.
A-Rod?
A-Rod?
Yeah. A-Rod. Yeah.
He was hitting the 2-hole, yeah.
141 in 1996.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Who holds the franchise record for highest batting average in a single season for the Tampa Bay Rays Devil Rays? Or Tampa Bay's
It's gotta be
Rays.
somebody obscure, isn't it?
It is not.
Oh.
It just happened. It happened last year.
Siri?
Not Siri. The dude's got
Oh,
thighs
Diaz.
as biceps. Yeah.
Yeah, Diaz.
Yeah. Yandy Diaz, 330. And to 2023. So last year. Who holds the franchise record for most runs scored in a single season for the Texas Rangers?
Andrus?
Nope.
Michael Young?
Nope. You guys are going to hate me for this one.
Oh, great. Well, because it's so obvious, because it's so
A-Rod?
obscure.
It is. It's A-Rod.
Oh, geez.
A-Rod did it for the Rangers. I figured that. Yeah.
Yeah. 133 in 2001.
Nice.
So, yeah. Who holds the franchise record for lowest whip in a single season for the Toronto Blue Jays?
R.A. Dickey.
No, after him. More recent than him.
Oh. Is it this Bowden Francis kid? Or is it about to be?
That kid's nasty, but
His stuff is
no,
gross.
it should be. It's a pitcher that should still be on the team.
Yeah, Manoa.
It is Alec Manoa.
Yeah.
0.99 in 2022.
Back when he could pitch.
Christ.
Yeah. So
Talk about a guy that just like lost it.
Well, he could take his time before the pitch clock.
yeah. So that was trivia for this week. Next week, I'm hoping to put picture puzzles back together. So I got a few going already. So we'll switch it up a little bit. But I know you guys are enjoying that trivia because everyone's been answering on it on Facebook and stuff. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I look like an idiot every now and again, but it's fun.
But I mean, baseball trivia is hard. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, there's so many players, so many categories, so many different eras of different types of baseball. Like, and there's just no way to hold all that information in your head. And if you can, you're not listening to our podcast. You're doing something completely different with your life. You know, I mean, it's just like, I mean, legit. I mean, it is hard to spit that stuff out. Like,
what, you get 150 years worth of history. Like when you say the all-time franchise leader, it's like, that's a lot of people that it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when I throw a curveball in there. Like some I throw fastballs right down the middle and you're like, oh, well, it's got to be somebody obscure. And it's like, nope, it's Jeff Bagwell. Like, you know, something like that. But, you know, but yeah, but those are fun. So thanks for joining us in the chat there, guys. But do you all have anything else for this evening? We covered a lot tonight, but do you have anything else to add?
I got two quick things. You got anything, Shawnee?
Go for it. No, go for it.
All right. So a few hours ago, the news broke the Detroit Tigers are calling up top prospect Jackson Jobe. Apparently, he's a pitching stud, and the Tigers are pulling him out of the minor leagues where it's basically wrapped up, and throwing him right into the middle of it to try to extend their rotation for this push into the playoffs, and then see where he fits going into the playoffs. Talk about bringing a top prospect up into a heated environment. This kid's going straight into the fire, but apparently he is. They view him as a can't miss kind of prospect. He's at that level, so
nice.
Cool for him. White Sox lost game number 120 last night, so any night now to set history. They really are that bad. And then, do you boys want to feel old?
Brilliant.
No.
Little Big League turns 30 this year.
Top-notch movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Top-notch movie.
Yeah, Little Big League, its
awesome.
30th anniversary is actually right about now.
Man.
It is a classic movie.
I now have to go watch it before
I know. I saw that. I'm like, oh man, I haven't seen the movie in a couple of years, and I need to go watch it.
I watch it on a regular basis.
All right, so
good.
I got to ask you guys, if there's one movie to watch before like an opening day ritual, what one baseball movie would you watch to get ready for the season?
Little Big League.
That's your pick? Okay.
That is my movie. Yeah.
Okay.
That is my baseball movie.
I was always a major league
Take
guy.
nothing away from,
I was always a major league guy. That was always my movie of choice.
No, it's to take nothing away from all the great baseball movies that are out there. Because there are a lot of really good baseball movies, but it's my favorite baseball movie.
It's a solid choice.
I mean, Little Big League is my favorite baseball movie. I'm with you, Sean. But what I actually watched when I was a kid growing up was Rookie of the Year.
Oh.
I mean, before every season. Like I always watched Rookie of the Year. That was Rosenberg.
Yeah, I mean, there are some major plot holes in that movie. Like
I know, we've covered.
I get irrationally angry every time. Like Henry shows up to the ballpark in his first game, right? And Chet Steadman's pitching. Okay. And supposedly the crowd hates Chet Steadman so much. Get Chet out. Chet's a bum. Boo. He doesn't have it anymore. He used to be called the Rocket. He's a bum. Blah, blah, blah. Henry comes in, hits a guy, throws a wild pitch. They throw him out at third base to end the game, and the final was 2-1. So that means that Chet Steadman pitched 8 2/3 innings while giving up 1 run, and they're just booing him off the ballpark. Like, that's crazy. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's Cubs fans, man.
Yeah, tough fans.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And I heard you guys last week talk a little bit about James Earl Jones, RIP to a legend.
Yeah.
And I think I'm with you, Sean, with Sandlot being my pick of movies for him. Yeah. As great as his voice was in Field of Dreams, I still love the scenes with him in Sandlot.
Yeah.
So,
and I made my kids watch Sandlot, and they loved it.
They'd never seen it before?
No, they'd never seen it before. I honestly hadn't realized I'd never seen it with them, so they loved it.
Oh, it's so good. That's awesome. All right. Anything else for this week, fellas?
That's it.
All right. Before you go, just make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can follow on Instagram. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for everybody that joins us in the chat every week. It makes it so much fun for us to bounce things off you and to help these poor blokes with the trivia. It really helps them out. So
be good if we were baseball fans.
Yeah, right. But thanks for the ongoing support and for you guys to keep coming back every week. It's a lot of fun for us to do it and a lot of fun to talk baseball. We have got a week left, fellas, until we are in the postseason.
It's going to be a big week.
It will be. Keep your eyes out for some postseason shows. I know, like, every once in a while, like if there's a big game on and we can find a time to hop on, we do more of an informal show where we just kind of sit down, talk about the game, talk about the news, and just kind of sit and shoot the shit. So it's pretty fun. We do that during the postseason a couple times. We'll probably do it during the World Series. But you can hop on and join us for that.
Yeah. Some of the more regular folks we invite on the show, come sit with us and talk baseball with us. People like Jay who keep popping up in the chat. Join us. Come talk some baseball. Yep.
Just send us a message. And we can definitely get you guys on for a few minutes when we're doing those informal shows. So we'll see you then. But until then, we will be back next Monday night at 8 p.m. to wrap up the season, the 2024 season, and get ready for the post.